If you look at the old photographs, you can really see it. The sitting on the porch of the house or on the grounds overlooking the bluffs or having visitors come. It was a genteel life that came about through the wealth generated in this country during the Gilded Age. The house itself was very comfortable for growing up in a pastoral setting, a sort of an isolated setting of a world unto itself, with exotic plants, with everything you needed from animals to be slaughtered to gardens raising all your vegetables. You could have an isolated, idyllic pastoral life out here. You wouldn't have to go to St. Louis or to the East Coast.
Eliestoun is basically a blend of two well-recognized styles in the late 19th century America. One being called the Queen Anne style, the other is the shingle style. And Queen Anne is basically distinguished by these kind of large turrets, which is a very prominent feature in the exterior of Eliestoun. And what's called a kind of a picturesque skyline. The chimneys stick up and break the even line of the top of the roof. And there's lots going on, okay? Much of Eliestoun, not all of it, but much of it is sided in vertical shake shingles, wood shingles. And it's more than that too. It's not just the covering, the sheathing of the building. You have this sense of almost inflated architecture, like the walls are just these kind of thin membranes that are stretched. Doorways get larger, so spaces flow into each other. It's really kind of the hints that Frank Lloyd Wright builds on when he does his own prairie-style homes, okay? So shingle style is a very progressive tendency or direction in late 19th century, and Eliestoun is really a part of that. They wanted an architecture that was truly American. I mean, we had spent, well, we were a colony for 200 years, so we had gotten in the habit of basically copying the architecture of the mother country, of Britain, and of other European countries.
It's subtle and beautiful. It's made out of wood, but as you walk in and turn around in the foyer and see it, it is very nice. And just off in a back hall, or side hall, is a back stairway, and that reflects the nature of servants, and that you have a wing of the house with servants' rooms and with a servants' stairway in which the servants could move up and down to handle house business without being seen. The main floor has 3 rooms going from east to west. You have the dining room, and it was set up to be a formal dining room in there with lots of leaded glass, lots of built-in cabinets for displaying china, things of that sort. In the center would be your formal parlor, your meeting or greeting area. At one time, there was a fireplace that opened between the two, between the dining room and this parlor foyer. And you can see from the front door, through the foyer, through the parlor, right out to the bluffs. And one should note the door, it's extra large in dimension and width, and hence the glass in the door is a very large piece of glass. And then the room that's to the west is the, one will call it the study or the family parlor room, where you'd have a piano, where you'd have your books, where you'd have your evening fireplace. All these, again, are in wood. The dining room has long since been painted over, but you can see a lot of the original wood and woodwork in the other two rooms. The southwest corner is actually curved, which means that the glass in the windows has to be curved. And the framing is in such a way as you've got curved windows, which when they operated on a sash and weights could slide up and down. I hope you'll look carefully and be able to see in some of the glass the old bubble imperfections in it, indicating old and original glass that's still in there. One of the difficulties with using buildings, say like this one that's over 100 years old, in the modern era, for things other than, say, a private home, is that it must meet modern safety regulations. You've got to invest a substantial amount of money in order to bring it up to code.
The electrical is of particular concern because it's so outdated, and there was the constant risk that we would have an overloaded circuit and have the potential for a fire. Our thought today is that the cost to renovate Eliestoun and to endow its continued maintenance would be on something of the order of $800,000 perhaps for the renovation, and $1 million endowment fund. I was first introduced to Eliestoun in 1977 when I came to Principia to actually propose to my wife-to-be, and came up for a walk here and found this glorious house on the bluffs.
Right now we're trying to explore how this unique architectural and historical resource can be integrated into the educational mission of the institution.
Office space, perhaps a second guest house, a retreat, a bed and breakfast.
Could it be a study center? Could it be open for tours? These are just my ideas. Others have similar ones. Eventually we'll need to start formalizing it and start pitching it to our trustees.
There's a feeling of responsibility to maintain our heritage here. And I can't imagine that Eliestoun would be just left to rot into the bluffs.
It has unique architectural and historical value, far beyond Principia itself, for this region, for the Elsa region, and for the St. Louis region.
And most everyone can appreciate, if not its historical value, certainly its beauty on the bluffs and its unique character. Really, Eliestoun is, to my knowledge, along this section of the Mississippi, it's unequaled. Obviously, it's loved by the community because so many people come out here for an opportunity to have some quiet reflection. Wouldn't it be a great day in Principia's history to find this site fully restored and find a purpose for Eliestoun again? I think certainly everybody would be heartened to see that happen, and I'm sure that it will at the right time.